والشاب الحفاظ عشوك عجلي وعلى النار.
بن بولعيد واسمه مصطفى، علي لطوانت وبدي عمر. القصبة ما زالها واقفة وما زالوا عساس الدار، ما زالها سعلة السقيفة وما زالها حرمة الجار. أنا يا بلادي راني عارف هما ما كانوش عارفين،
دهشوا نهار علي ما توقف، احنا عادتنا نموت واقفين. نموت على النيف والشرف، نموت على الوطن والدين، علمنا بلا ريح يرفرف، احنا هما الجزائريين. أنا يا بلادي على بالي هما ما كانوش فاهمين،
حبوا يديو البلاد ديالي، حسبونا ماناش قادرين. فكتهم حسيبة بنبوعلي الجميلة تونسى الأخرين، من حقك يا الجزائر تولولي ولدتي نسا ورجال حرين. أنا يا بلادي سمحيلي ما قدرتش نذكرهم كاملين،
واش نذكر واش نخلي شهداء رواحهم طاهرين، مازالهم في قلبي وفي بالي، ربي يرحمهم أجمعين. والقصبة مازالها ديالي وسط الدار والعرس واقفين.
معليش يا القصبة وريلهم
قرصان رياس وساطيل، على عروج وخير الدين احكي لهم،
وفهم الناس اللي جاهلين
باللي الجزائر ماهيش ليهم، ولادها مازالهم عايشين في وسط الناس. كيفاش تعرفهم الشدة ديما متحدين،
باللي الجزائر ماشي ديالهم، ولادها مازالهم عايشين في وسط الناس. كيفاش تعرفهم في الشدة ديما متحدين.
خوتي خواتاتي مساء الخير، مرحبا بكم في هذا المباشر تاع جزائر هوب. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome in this Jazair Hope second live in English. As you know, we in Jazair Hope decided that we try to do such emissions in English for the importance of the language. Decided lately to introduce English from the primary school, and through those kind of programs we are trying to encourage that. Today we have a very important subject, very topical subject, a subject that has been of importance lately in Algeria, and we will discuss that during this program. And for that we have two very nice ladies and gentlemen who have nicely accepted to present to us this important subject, which is about the Emir Abdelkader. The subject is the Emir Abdelkader Education Project, and our guests are successively Cathy Gams, who is a co-founder of Abdelkader Education Project and executive director. And we have also with us Del Christensen, who is the board member at the same project. Kathy and Del, thank you very much for accepting our invitation.
Well, it's our pleasure, and I'm so happy to be here. I hope you can hear me okay. Iowa is a long way from where you are. So I have been with the project since it began, and you'll learn more about that in my
I hear you very well.
You can hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So, so John Kaiser wrote a book, and because he launched it in Al-Qaeda, I learned a lot about the life of my hometown's namesake. And as I said, you will learn more about that in the PowerPoint that I will share. So people ask me, what qualifies me to do this? Well, absolutely nothing, except I have a passion for wanting the world to be a better place. And I think that Abdelkader's legacy helps to do that. Thank you.
Go ahead, Del, if you want to say a couple of words.
Yes, thank you, Kader. It's an honor to be here. I'm privileged to be on the board of directors for the Abdelkader Education Project, and delighted that you're giving us some time on this particular platform. So we're happy to be here.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, I have put on the screen the website of the Abdelkader Education Project, and particularly the page where we can see the team of this project, where you can know much more about Kathy Grams and about Del Christensen and their partners in the Abdelkader Educational Project. So with that, I would like to start, Kathy, by asking you if you can give us an overall description of the project, what you do, what you have been doing so far, your successes, your wishes, what you would like to achieve in the future, and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's wonderful. Perhaps now would be a good time to give the overall of the project on the PowerPoint, and then I'd like to share where we've gone from our beginning. Okay, thank you very much. So the Abdelkader Education Project is truly a journey of discovery, connecting continents and cultures across centuries. It's all about relationships with lessons that speak to the complexity of our global society. AEP endeavors to overcome ignorance with informed dialogue and knowledge from the classroom to the boardroom. It promotes cultural understanding and global citizenship that transcends culture and faith traditions. Abdelkader was a unifier with a spirit of inclusion and embodied the best of religion and humanity. His values in action continue to serve as global icons of courageous religious, military, and ethical leadership. We discuss Abdelkader's life in 4 stages: his early years in war, in prison, in exile. And I'd like to point out that everything I'm just overviewing right now, you know that there's a wealth of knowledge that goes behind each topic. So Abdelkader was a man of civility and compassion who believed in justice, empathy, and forgiveness. The New York Times wrote in 1873, the nobility of his character won him the admiration of the world. He was one of the few great men of the century. Around age 24, Abdelkader unified 20 warring tribes in his own land, then set out to defend it for 17 years from French occupation. After uniting the tribes, Abdelkader created the Smala. A traveling tent city of around 70,000 people was established to stay ahead of the French. Being a strategic planner, Abdelkader organized the tents in concentric circles wherever they relocated. Now, Abdelkader was known for his humane treatment of prisoners. Abdelkader was a precursor of the Geneva Convention on Human Rights. Today, his bust is displayed at the International Committee for the Red Cross in Geneva, along with Henry Dunant, its founder. As Peter Maurer stated, Abdelkader is the undisputed leader in the codification of modern international humanitarian law. In 1860, Abdelkader saved over 10,000 Christians in Damascus. In recognition of his courageous actions, many countries praised him. Even the French awarded him the Legion of Honor. The Suez Canal was built because Abdelkader gathered Arab support for this French project. Having an interest in philosophy, science, and technology, Abdelkader was active in constructing the canal and participated in the 1869 opening. Way before computers and social media, a town in America's heartland was named after this Muslim freedom fighter. A lawyer from New York followed Emir Abdelkader's chivalrous exploits against the French. In 1846, Timothy Davis named a new settlement in northeast Iowa on the banks of the Turkey River, Al-Qader, to honor him. At the center of my hometown, Al-Qader, is an historic Keystone Arch Bridge, a perfect metaphor for building bridges of understanding from Missouri to Moscow to Mecca and beyond. I give great tours if anyone wants to visit. So in 1984, the sister city relationship became official between Al-Qader, Iowa, and Abdelkader's hometown in Mascara City, Algeria. Although I grew up in Al-Qader, it wasn't until reading John Kaiser's Commander of the Faithful, The Life and Times of Emir Abdelkader, that I learned the global impact of my hometown's namesake. Organizing this 2008 book launch, John and I began our journey of telling the Abdelkader story that grew into the Abdelkader Education Project. So connections actually began between Al-Qader and Mascara in 1984. In 2008, after reorganizing the Sister City program, I was invited to speak at the Council of Nations in Algiers and visited Mascara City. That same year, I organized John Kaiser's book launch, and in 2009, John and I began telling the Abdelkader story, which led to the first AEP forum in Al-Qader. AEP became a nonprofit organization in 2014. Inspired by Commander of the Faithful, AEP has multiple components, from student and educator contests to curricula to workshops and outreach beyond the classroom. Well, how about storytelling? Well, I invite you to explore our unique hands-on Abdelkader Stage project. These professionally written factual stories are written with intelligent humor, so enjoy the vignettes, learn by doing, and share with others. Please visit AEP's website to learn about our free educational materials and opportunities for all ages, including the Stage Project. In Britain, an underdog racehorse was named after Abdelkader. Known affectionately as Little Ab, the racehorse won the Grand National Steeplechase in 1850 and 1851. Now, this is a photo from one of my early visits to Mascara City. And in the United States, I asked, well, who would be surprised to know that Emir Abdelkader was an authority on horses? Well, one of the best, earliest descriptions of the Arabian horse was actually written by Emir Abdelkader. Mascara horsemen are keeping the traditions and history alive by performing fantasia on special occasions. They do a great job. So why study Emir Abdelkader? Well, Powerful history and critical thinking are vital to our world. Through the historical lens of the conquered, Abdelkader's example challenges stereotypes, which can lead to a more harmonious world for all people. Now, these fourth and fifth graders in Al-Qaeda, this was a couple of years ago, they were excited to learn about Abdelkader. With a show and tell presentation from items I had brought back from Algeria, the content included math, arts and social studies, music, geography, history, and science. For 10 years, our annual AEP Forum celebrated the legacy and values of Emir Abdelkader as we honored winning essay students and educators. Included in the celebrations were guests, dignitaries, culture, entertainment, and powerful networking for everyone. With adequate funding, we could continue this important tradition, and I would love to do that. So, as our first college essay winner stated, AEP offers students a chance to engage with a narrative of history not often discussed in the Western classrooms, yet crucial to develop comprehension of the variegated ways the West intersects with the East and vice versa. Now, Dowd stated, the wonderful example of Emir Abdelkader has been a source of inspiration for me since I discovered his story. I admire the Emir for his courageous commitment to advancing human rights and dignity. As our world continues to face horrendous challenges like war crimes and religious persecution, it's important to draw lessons from compassionate leaders like the Emir in pursuit of justice. So the Abdelkader story continues today because in the middle 1800s, Timothy Davis on one side of the world recognized the positive global impact of Algeria's own hero on the other side. And in the early 2000s, John Kaiser of Virginia chose to write about him and launched his book in Al-Qaeda. Now that is a great international story. So there's always more to tell. Feel free to reach out to me. My email is kathy@abdelkaderproject.org or on our website. But for the latest of what's happening with AEP, please visit our Facebook page. Well, let's continue the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And this is very exhaustive presentation. I feel like I knew just 10% of it. And that's one of the reasons I have put a small poll for our audience to answer. And just the poll is, I'll put it on the screen now. And the purpose is just for our audience, which is mainly Algerians, to answer a question of how much they know about Abdelkader. So on your website, you mentioned that he is a seeker, he is a poet, he is a diplomat, he is a teacher. So these, for example, characteristics, I didn't know about them. So I have asked our audience to answer this. And I'm asking them now for those who have just joined to answer this question. And at the end of this presentation, we will look at the answers and we will comment on them. Del, I would like to turn to you and ask you if you can give us a little bit more insight from your perspective. I know that you have joined the board recently, just to tell us what attracted you to this initiative, how you see it, and how important you look at it. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Hope. I joined the board just a little under 2 years ago now, but I've known about the Abdelkader Education Project, and I've known Kathy for many years. I work with another nonprofit in Iowa called Iowa Resource for International Service that brings in international guests from around the world to the state of Iowa and promotes peace building and mutual understanding with others and connects Iowa residents with the rest of the world. many people don't know that the state of Iowa is a small rural state with only about 3 million people total. Yet it is often associated with international guests and has made a name for itself in the welcoming nature that we have. And I think the story of Abdelkader and a small community in Iowa being named after such a great leader exemplifies just what Iowans feel about the international community and about promoting peace around the world. So it fits well. The Abdelkader Education Project fits very well with the work that I've been doing for the last 20 years. And so to be a part of the board of directors and serving as vice president at the moment is just truly an honor. And even though I've known a lot about the Abdelkader Education Project for years, I learn a little bit more every time I talk to Kathy and every time we meet and discuss what programs and what projects this organization has been doing over the last 15 years.
Thank you, Del. Thank you. Kathy, one of the most important aspect of Abdelkader Educational Project is its curriculum towards students and also towards educators. So can you give us a little bit more details about those two aspects? So the students contest and the teachers contest. And the purpose is to attract attention of Algerians to those programs and maybe give them, entice them to participate in the future. Kathy, your mic is closed.
I was listening so intently to Del, so I did shut myself off. Okay, thank you. So the educator contest was a pilot project only, so we could see how it goes, and it went well. In fact, one of the winners was a junior high orchestra teacher, just to show you how it goes. Abdelkader's story goes so many ways. It was very successful in that regard because the students were evaluating his legacy to elements of music, and the students realized that that helped them to look into their own life more closely as well. So now in the United States, it's a little more difficult to get different things into the classroom. But when we can visit a school one-on-one, it does work out well. The curriculum for goes through middle school through high school. And there are a lot of different things that are discussed. We have document-based question. Oh, thank you for putting that up there. Right. Okay, so this is regarding the Citizenship Prize Essay Contest. Our original contest was Abdelkader Global Leadership Prize. This is the first year that we did citizenship. Now, regarding the contest, this year we had several AI-oriented essays. And so this becomes a little dicey. We are going to, with the board, and whoever has ideas, they can contact us because we want to have a different kind of a competition. When I was in Nashville, they actually had Abdelkader awards, and that was for stewardship in the community. So let me see, what else is there? So the primary sources were wonderful. And the primary sources, I think, are for high school. They explore the limitations of what is out there. So for instance, in exploring the primary sources, we realized that the New York Times posted the obit for Abdelkader in 1873. but that was a rumor. He actually died in 1883. So, mistakes can happen. But for many, many years, that has gone across as just being an obit. It was not, it was, they posted it as an obit, but it really wasn't, because it was 10 years later that Abdelkader actually died. So for the document-based questions, the students examine their primary source documents to evaluate and compare information on George Washington, Abdelkader, and Gandhi, because they all sought peace and harmony in our worlds. We do have one college competition that just finished, and that was for public relations students. And that was, the students would design public relations campaigns to challenge common preconceptions about Muslims. So the student contest would actually explore Abdelkader's legacy to discover that he was a humanitarian and a hero. Challenges the students to engage critical thinking. That is very important to us, the critical thinking for the future. And why did we start with the students? Because we believe, and they are our future, and we want them to grow up learning about ethical leadership, which Abdelkader is a true example of that. So Harvard Pluralism Project, that talks about the mother mosque.
Kati, if I may.
Yes. Yes.
If I may interrupt you just to ask you a question. Can non-Americans based outside the US participate into those prizes and contests? If you can explain that.
When we have contests, any person attending high school in the United States is eligible to participate at this point. And I would like to somehow expand that. But right now, it's like the exchange programs. The students that are studying in the United States, they have to be in a high school at this time in the United States.
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead. And if you can just elaborate now on the section related to educators.
To the educators. Del, do you want to take that one?
Sure, Kathy. The Abdelkader Education Project has been, in addition to teaching and engaging young people, we've also been working on curriculum at the high school, secondary school levels, and we continue to work on that curriculum and work with educators in Iowa and throughout the U.S. on how that curriculum might be used in the schools here. As Kathy has mentioned, that in addition to what we've already done, the organization is looking at how can we even expand upon that. So we would love to get ideas on potential expansion of curriculum beyond just the high school level, or beyond just within the U.S., as well as how to develop resources that might allow us to share that curriculum around the world. So there's lots of opportunities there with the curriculum, but Kathy can go into more detail on specifically how the curriculum is set up and who's currently using that curriculum.
Oh, thank you, Del. And I must say that our only limitation on curriculum is that we want to keep it fresh. So our limitation is, number one, we do not have the funds to hire the people to go into the classroom to introduce it. I will be speaking at the Iowa Council for Social Studies in the fall, along with another teacher. And I have spoken at the Islamic Society of North America Education Forum. That was just a couple of months ago. And then, so we speak at different, whenever we're invited. And we like to spread the word that way. But again, our limitation is in keeping our curriculum fresh. And it's fresh right now, but we want to keep growing.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy and for this. My next question to you both is how can we help as Algerians? How can we participate into your effort? Do you have programs with Algeria? All this kind of stuff in terms of collaboration. How can we work together for that matter? I have a couple of ideas I will share with you later, but I would like to hear from you first.
Well, number one, we have people reaching out to us, whether educators or students and others, and they want to be a part of AEP. But what we need are partners in Algeria to work with us. Del, would you like to share more?
Sure. As many of you would know, to develop programs in Algeria as an American nonprofit, we need to work with the right ministry officials and get approval and guidance from those ministry officials to be able to move forward with programming within Algeria. We are in contact with the U.S. Embassy and work with them to find out what opportunities are already on the ground. But I think one way that Algerians could help the Abdelkader Education Project in Algeria would be to help us develop those connections with the right ministry officials, with other nonprofits and agencies within Algeria that we might be able to partner with. And as Kathy has said, any ideas and thoughts on what you feel would work best within Algeria, because as Americans, we don't want to make the assumption that we would know what would work best in Algeria. Algerians know what worked best in Algeria. So we always look for those ideas from within the country.
I have a couple of other items I would just like to mention. So learning opportunities, we are always into sharing what we know, and likewise, we want to learn from others. So for instance, tour opportunities to Algeria would be marvelous. I have had the opportunity, and I am very blessed to have been over to Algeria 6 or 7 times. And each time I learn more. And I know that I would really like to take groups over to Algeria to have them experience what I've experienced. And I haven't even been to all the places yet, but I have been to 2 UNESCO sites, and I know Algeria has 8 UNESCO sites. So Algeria has a lot to offer. And I think when we start just sharing cultures and education, that's the best way to start. And, you know, we could do that by skills areas or even interest areas, you know, for instance, art, music, theater, community leaders or other leaders, specialty leaders. And I'm talking about adults and or students. You know, we've got the whole gamut there. We don't want to leave anyone out. And so, for example, you noted we had an annual forum, our AEP forum we did for 10 years. And the 10th year we celebrated in Washington, D.C. We did that at Wesley Theological Seminary, and it was sponsored by our partners were the Algerian Embassy and the U.S. Algeria Business Council. So right away, we pulled different cultures and different faiths together. And we did a whole day program, and then we celebrated at night as well. And our keynote speaker was #1 peacekeeper in the world out of Geneva. So we just welcome all comments, questions, and any advice we can receive. So thank you.
Yeah, I think there are so many opportunities for partnerships as well as expansion of our current programs and development of new programs at the Abdelkader Education Project. Iowa has a lot to offer for Algerians that might want to travel here and take part as well. Every year, the University of Iowa has an international writers workshop that is very well attended from people around the world. And we know that several Algerian writers have taken part in that workshop. So there are definitely opportunities there. And I loved seeing some of the comments below about Algeria developing education in English, and that this curriculum would potentially fit well as a component of that. I think everybody is thinking along the right track with this.
And I would like to point out that Del is the director.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If I may, Kathy, just to comment of what you just said about partnership. First of all, one of the reasons of this program is to make this call. So there will be people who will be watching this program, and they might be reaching out to you guys. Second, as Jazair Hope, I lively and here I offer you to be a partner. So we are like you guys. So we are a volunteer group. So we work whenever we have some free time, but we can at least help you connect locally. What I can offer right away is that we offer you a small space in our website where people, they will see Abdelkader Educational Project, they click on it, and they will come to your website. So you will get known a little bit more. We can, without committing very highly, we can offer you to help you connect with local authorities wherever we can. So whenever you have a specific request, you can touch base with us, and we will try to help you reach out to the right people. As suggestions, and as Del was saying, because as I said in the very beginning, Algeria has introduced English very early in the primary school. Maybe you open up your context to Algerians. So, and through that opening up of those contexts, you can filter out the ones who are successful, and then maybe invite them, or invite students from America, for that matter, to Algeria and so on. So through the context, you can create some more engagement on both sides. So we are making this program so that people, they hear us what we are talking about, and they will contact us, and they will come up with other ideas.
That sounds perfect. Thank you. Now, if you're referring people to our website, I need to point out, because we do not have website people working with us, volunteering, or social media, the website's a little bit behind. Like if you look under events, things that we've done recently, it still goes back to 2022. And we have done so much. We just do not have anybody right now to put it on the website. And social media, I handle Facebook myself, but it's not that terrific. So if anybody would like to help with Facebook, that's also, I'm reaching out. Oh, and remember, we really like to
whatever we will do, we will do. So I was going to say, so whatever we will do, we try to do it in collaboration. So if you would like that, we connect you to connect our website to your Facebook page, we'll do that. But between us, I like very much your website. Maybe the events are behind, but the content is so great, and I really love it. Dad, you'd like to add something?
Sure. I just I see Jazair Hope as a wonderful amplifier or megaphone for getting this information out, and And I think the possibilities of expanding these ideas and just that concept of Abdelkader as a man of peace and humanity throughout the world, not just for Algerians, but for everyone. It really is a great story and a great concept to share throughout the world. And so I just am so appreciative of you opening up your platform to allow us to share that.
What I really appreciate about Abdelkader, that's why although I am a volunteer, I treat it like a full-time job because it's that important to me. I believe that Abdelkader is, and it's proven, he's been many things to many people. And so when we talk about exploring the life story and the legacy of Abdelkader, there's no end, and for all the different subject areas in school, he is there. He can be explored. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And look, before we take, of course, now this we are making the call to all our audience about what we just said about collaboration. So I ask our audience to share this program with people they might know, authorities, associations in Algeria who have the same kind of interest. So I think the purpose of this talk is also that. Before we take a few questions, we are already at 40 minutes of discussion. Before we take a few questions from audience, I will share with you the result of the poll so far. Okay, I put it on the screen now. And as you can see, more than 50% of our audience, we had 120 votes, okay, as you can see. And more than 50% they are saying that we didn't know this about Emir Abdelkader, or we knew just partly of that. And here we are talking about an Algerian audience. It's great that 48% they know, but still for Algerians, for an Algerian leader, more than 50% not knowing is something that we need to deal with. So and as I said in the very beginning, that was one of the reasons for us to make this program. So do you have any comment on these results, Del and Kathy?
Well, I wondered about that because whenever I'm in Algeria, I'm not sure I was speaking in public places. I thought I was, but I think it may have been an invited audience. But everybody was very eager to learn, and I'm happy about that. And plus, the background that Del and I have from the book that John wrote, he did 8 years of research in the different countries that Abdelkader was in. So, and maybe not everybody has read that book. We do have it available in Arabic for publishing because the U.S. Embassy funded the translation of John's book into Arabic. And then English. That makes me very happy that that's being taught more in Algeria. And again, going back to when I was there, the young people always came up to me and wanted to practice English, and I'm always happy to do that.
Excellent. Anything to add, Del?
Just that I guess I'm not overly surprised that not as many people are widely aware of different leaders. Even in the United States, if you did a poll of those in the United States about historic leaders from that time period, many would maybe have heard the name but not known the story. And so if we can help to encourage more people to dig deeper into the story of Emir Abdelkader, I think that's a wonderful thing that could be accomplished.
That's great. Kati, just you mentioned about John Weiser book. Mm-hmm. We are launching a new version of our website where we are adding a library of books. Ourselves at Jazair Hope, we have written a book that is inspired from a British Museum book called The History of the World in 100 Objects. So we wrote a book in Jazair Hope, which is the history of Algeria in 54 objects. And 54 in reference to the Algerian Revolution. So I will share with you that book. It is in French, but I will offer it to you. Maybe you have French speakers. But what I'm offering you is that when we launch our new platform, we can add John Weiser book into our platform, so people they can buy it from there. Or I don't know if it's for purchase or if it's free. But whatever, we can put it there, and people they can buy it from there.
It's actually online. Is it Amazon, I think?
Okay, great. So we will add it. We will add it, and more Algerian audience will know about it. That's great. And now, recently, the Algerian government has announced a project about Abdelkader. And as Del was saying, it is also the authorities' responsibility to broadcast such great leaders. So better late than never. The Algerian government has announced a project about Emir Abdelkader, where a cultural center will be built in the second city of Algeria in the west, in Oran, which is very close to Mascara, where Emir Abdelkader had his headquarters. So we don't know much about this project, but I think that you should stay tuned, and maybe you will find a way to add value to this project. What I think is that it's gonna be a cultural project whereby there will be a 3D cinema where people will be welcomed by a 3D Emir Abdelkader representation, where they will know about the history and so on and so forth. So we don't know much about the details, but just sharing with you this. You should stay tuned, and maybe you can find a way to connect with this project.
That sounds very exciting. I would like a culture center in Al-Qaeda.
Absolutely. So let's have a look to the questions. If we have, we have 22. I'm sure that we have answered many of them. But let me try to filter. Okay, there's one question saying, how did your passion for Emir Abdelkader come up? I can modify it a little bit to say how the passion of Emir Abdelkader came up to Iowa and to Al-Qadir City.
Well, you mean when it was named, why it was named? Is that what you're asking?
And then how people are connected to it recently, yeah.
Well, how it was named is there was an attorney on the East Coast who traveled west to seek his fortune, and he ended up following Lytle's Living Age, which was a publication out of the UK at the time, and they put all international media together. So he was following Abdelkader as he was fighting against the French so valiantly. And it was sort of a case of the David and Goliath situation. Al-Qaeda is a very small town. We were doing our own fighting, with Europe. So I think it was just a matter of in fact, if you want to have an interesting story, go to our stage project, because one of the vignettes is about the naming of Al-Qaeda. and you can activate. They're only 3 or 4 minutes. I use them in board meetings, and you can use them in public meetings. They're just really fun. Okay, so what I've been doing recently is we have a lot of Algerian visitors, and so I give them tours, and I was serious. I give really good tours of my hometown, and all the gifts that I've been given are on display. They're down in City Hall. I work closely with Al-Qaeda City Hall and also the Carter House Museum. So I have my gifts distributed between those. In fact, I have gifts that I don't have places for. So there is an Algerian coming tomorrow, and I'm giving him a tour. He's from Luxembourg.
Thank you very much. So I'm looking to another question that we have not covered for another.
You talked about somebody had
this
a question
one,
about statue.
I
can tell you about the statue.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Del. So recently, you have had the statute in القادر. Tell us about it, please.
Yes, Kathy.
Okay. Well, the Abdelkader Education Project owns a Banksy type, which is a high quality monument of Abdelkader, and it's one of several that were made as part of the Emir Protector project. He is the only historic figure that has become a monument. The rest are everyday people. You wouldn't know their name, and that's the way it's intended to be. And Abdelkader is a rather forgotten hero. That's why he is included in this. He has done so many things in his lifetime to protect people. And so the other monuments have the same thing. So it could be as simple as giving water to someone who is really thirsty, or saving someone from drowning. Another example is someone fell under a train and was having, for some reason he fell under this train. So this person laid on top of him to protect him, and the train rolled over both of them. You know, people are everyday heroes. In fact, that reminds me, one of our essay students, when he was talking, he was from Phoenix, and he spoke about, when he spoke to the students, he said, you know, everybody has to have a hero. You could be a hero and, you know, learn about Abdelkader, what he did. You can be learning about yourselves. And I thought, well, that's really nice. And he equated it to a superhero. You know, we have our superheroes today. Started with Superman in my generation, you know, and then they sort of advanced. So, yeah, that's it.
But yes, it was just within the last year that we've been able to bring a statue of Abdelkader to Iowa. The statue is currently in Al-Qaeda, correct, Kathy?
It's in City Hall now, and I did the reveal in the Collective, which is our artist community building. And a person from Al-Hira came, and he spent the whole day with me. I gave him a tour, and he did an article, and then I did an interview with Al-Hira too. So that is posted on our Facebook page. So the monument is going to be part of Art in the Park, August 19 and 20. And that is out in our Founders Park, which is the area that was reclaimed as a public space. That was a part of Al-Qaeda that was destroyed in a flood of 2008. Oh, and because we have our monument, the Algerian embassy reached out to me, and the ambassador wants to come visit.
He should actually. He should.
We're working on it.
Let me take another. Let me take another question. Well, there are 2-3 questions that are of the same nature. So this one, is there a way to create bridges between US schools and Algerian schools to work together around those kind of programs? Or in the same lines, are there prospects to extend this project in Algeria or other countries? Those 2 questions. There is a third one, which is which is along the same line. So go ahead.
Yes, I would love to see that happen. And again, we need the bodies to do it and the connecting links to get us into Algeria. Yes, yes. That's very doable. But the funding to have people work with us, that is very, very important. But I would love to have that happen.
Yeah. Anyway, so absolutely. So the call is made. So I'm calling on Algerian, for example, students who can create projects, startups around these ideas where they can benefit and also participate to widen this initiative locally and around the world. We are reaching the hour, and I have one question that I would like to share with you, or a couple of questions, but are of the same nature. Okay, this is the question. Do you think that the Emir Abdelkader is part of the collective memory of humanity? And I would like to add to it, if there is one characteristic of or achievement of Abdelkader that we should be all as humans be proud of, what will be that one?
His ethics and moral courage, I think, because all of his prominent decisions were based on, he didn't make decisions based on his own benefit of power or wealth. He made decisions based on what was best for his people, I believe.
Anything to add, Del?
Yeah,
From your perspective?
I would echo what Kathy has said, that his actions spoke for themselves, that it really showed that what he did was look first at how it could help humanity and society, and not focus on what it would help him personally. And so it's that outward effort to help those around him and to help humanity as a whole is really the key. And all of the actions that have come out within the story of Abdelkader really fit with that focus on humanity and a peace builder.
Thank you very much, Guy. It's exactly 1 hour. Look, from my perspective, what I would like to add, and of course, please comment on that. I would like to add about the fact that Abdelkader is, in a way, the precursor of the Human Rights Convention, Geneva Human Rights Convention. So, and why I would like to outline this, it's because as a country who is developing country from Africa, we are always kind of labeled to have a lot to do in the field of human rights. While matter of fact, the Human Rights Convention has been inspired by a local Algerian. So I would like our Algerian audience to keep that in mind and to broadcast it as much as possible.
I agree completely. The more that we can tell, that as many people as possible can tell his story, and so true that he was truly a precursor to this, to the Human Rights Convention, and while to have that come out of Algeria is something for Algerians to be very proud of.
Absolutely. And the fact that when the French came to him and they wanted one particular prisoner, he said, "What? one man is as important as the next. So they did a mass prisoner exchange. You know, it's things like this. And even the prisoners, he took such good care of them. If he couldn't feed them, he let them go. And he valued each person, which is as I believe it should be.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kati and Del, for this presentation. It should be, we should look at it just as a start of something that we together should make as big as possible. I remain very available whenever you have a question or you have a need to do anything in the country. I will be very glad to lend a hand, and I look forward for more collaboration into this perspective. So with that, please.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much for this exposure. And, you know, even for the students or adults, there's no reason why we can't start discussion groups across the ocean via Zoom.
Del, anything to say before we?
Yes, just thank you so much for the opportunity. We here in our small state of Iowa are very proud that we know about this great leader, and that one of our small communities has been named after him. And we want to continue to share that story. And we're just delighted that you've given us this opportunity on this international platform in order to do that. So thank you very much.
On my side, I thank you for accepting the invitation. I was delighted to have this program with you guys. It's so important for us again, as much as it is for you, and we look forward to achieve something together. I would like to finish by thanking our audience, asking them to share this program as much as they can, and to share it with particularly with the people who matters. The video will be available on YouTube. So for those who have any suggestion, please feel free to add it as a comment, or to reach out to through our website to myself or to a team member. So with that, thank you very much. Have a good evening, Kati and Del, and look forward to speak to you again very soon.
Marvelous. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Tell our story to whoever will listen.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
احنا الشعب اللي تمشى بالحفاظ، عالشوق عجلي وعلى النار،
بن بولعيد واسمه مصطفى، علي لطوانت وبدي عمار، القصبة ما زالها واقفة وما زالوا عساس الدار، ما زالها سعلة السقيفة وما زالها حرمة الجار. أنا يا بلادي راني عارف، هما ما كانوش عارفين،
دهشوا نهار علي ما توقف، احنا عادتنا نموت واقفين، نموت على النيف والشرف، نموت على الوطن والدين، علمنا بلا ريح يرفرف، احنا هما الجزائريين. أنا يا بلادي على بالي، هما ما كانوش فاهمين،
حبوا يديو البلاد البلاد ديالي حسبونا ماناش قادرين، فكتهم حسيبة بنبوع للجميلة تنسى الآخرين. من حقك يا الجزائر تولولي ولدتي نساو رجال حرين. أنا يا بلادي سمحيلي ما قدرتش نذكرهم كاملين،
واش نذكر واش نخلي شهداء رواحهم طاهرين، مازالهم في قلبي وفي بالي، ربي يرحمهم اجمعين. والقصبة مازالها ديالي وسط الدار والعرس واقفين.
معليش يا القصبة وريلهم
قرصان رياس وساطيل، على عروج وخير الدين احكي لهم،
وفهم الناس اللي جاهلين
باللي الجزائر ماهيش ليهم ولادها مازالهم عايشين في وسط الناس. كيفاش تعرفهم في الشدة ديما متحدين،
باللي الجزائر ماشي ديالهم ولادها مازالهم عايشين في وسط الناس. كيفاش تعرفهم في الشدة ديما متحدين.